Oh crap, forgot my hard hat.
Windshield, still nice. Hey y'all, Trees Barbados. We're at this junkyard in Minnesota, just looking at all the old log grapples, and this one's pretty cool. I don't know what year it is. I would assume like the 70s or something. We're like kind of taking a close look at this stuff. Man, they really were better craftsmen back then. Like looking at the steel and the welds and just like the way this whole thing was pieced together and how solid it looks. Just solid ass shit. Sitting here left to rot. We'll show you around. There's all sorts of things going on here. We got all these old vehicles. Just driving around. Now I'm trying to think of a good quick joke for y'all. Dude, this thing was cut off the top. Oh, look, the whole fucking top of this thing was cut off, so it's missing a whole bunch of it. You know? You wonder, like, what's going through people's heads? It's just like, they'd use this for something else, probably, most likely. You know, they got some oldies and some goodies in here. A bunch of stuff. Look at this, like old trailer home or something. And we got a propane tank. It's just the earth is starting to eat this shit again. This one's from Michigan. Looks like just an old mobile home camper type deal. A trailer actually, so this is probably like a semi-pole something. That's a fucking heavy ass duty trailer, that's for sure. Up in here, it's all gross and shit. Newest vehicle I've seen up in here. This old Ford over here. I think it's got a Power Stroke badge on it. But, yeah, I'm sure it did have a Power Stroke in it. The motor is gone. And yeah, that would make sense. Like, you wouldn't just fucking put a truck out like this, you know. You just wouldn't do that. Because that's a nice, good new motor. Yeah, F350, super daddy. Very nice. Oh, look at this old thing over here. Let's go check this out. Oh, this thing's not even this is a full-on motorhome. Got the Harley badges and everything. Oh, wow. Definitely looks like an old fucking nasty biker trailer. Lots of alcohol and wife beating went down in this one. Look at this big giant thing. Gosh. Some sort of huge farmer's implement. I'm assuming for digging in the ground. Look at this cylinder. I mean, the force that this thing was exerting is a little bananas. I mean, look at this fucking, what the fuck? Look at this motor. You know, I bet you those cylinders are fucking something like that. Your PTO and your hydraulic motor. This is, look at that hose. You know, that's a 2-inch hose. You know, that's going to move some fluid. Tires, say they're about 5 foot tall. That's a piece of equipment right there. That's a fucking piece of equipment, dude. Huh. I guess we'll start making our way back. Got the, here's an old camper alley over here. That's where all the bums live. Bad part of town. You know, it's interesting to think, at one point all of these vehicles were out on the road with somebody in them, driving around, you know? And now they're just kind of like sitting here out in this tomb. They're rotten. Just slowly, particles and just falling off and going back into the ground. And all they did was sit here a couple hundred years. You'd have just some lumps of rust where the engine blocks were. Everything else, you know, if it wasn't buried at that point. Right? It's just crazy to think. Back in the, I think it was the 90s, you know, maybe a lot of y'all remember the cash for clunkers. Well, what they were doing was they were like trying to take control of the used car market and enforce people to buy new vehicles. So they went to junkyards like this all over America, and they offered cash for clunkers for shit like this. And they put them all through the shredder. They put all that stuff through the shredder. But, you know, walking through this junkyard, one thing I've noticed is there's a lot of things here that could be used, that are still fine and good. So, you know, ever since that point, it really has put a hamper on, like, the average everyday person's ability to fix their own shit for a good price. And now, like, all the parts that we need are being made in factories in China with cheap fucking Chinese metal and all this stuff. And so that's what happens, you know. So seeing a place like this is actually like one of those places that you have to be like, this is true American freedom right here, because throughout this junkyard is the means and ability to fix a lot of things that don't require electronics to run, which is, in our day and age, like more of a way to be autonomous. So anyways, yeah, you ever see a place like this, you should come by and check it out. Look through it, pay homage to what was. Yeah, one day if I could, and it won't even be if I can, it'll be just one day when I do, round up myself a couple 100 acres, I will start importing a bunch of junk-ass junk. You know, especially all these old steel body cars, like all these solid panel, like that's a solid fucking car. And when you dent these things, you can pop that steel back into place. So they're really fun to work with, really. And I know why there's a lot of old steel guys that are, you know, still fucking with these old cars, because they really are fun to manipulate and work with. And definitely would love to have my own mega junkyard. I think my wife would damn kill me, but we'll put it on the back 40. You don't have to look at it. Like goals right here. Got these old, Looks like old pickup trucks, you know, like the ones your dads used to drive over here. One Dad and Grandpa used to own. Here we got an old Ford. And just in rough shape. You know, like these lips right here on these old Fords, they would always hold moisture, and you seeing all these rust pockets throughout here. You know, they hold moisture and dirt and all that stuff, so that's one thing that you'll see on all these old trucks where that trim was. That stuff starts rotting out, so if you're ever in like trying to look for something like this to fix, or like, you know, you got to really look at those things, because the more rust that you're looking at, the worse it's going to be. This one's actually in really good shape. Got some dents there. We would have to pull all that shit out, but this is the one that I think was looking kind of nice. It's been sitting here a long time. It's got mold growing on it. Oh yeah, this thing's wrecked. Thing's done. Old F-250 Ranger. Oh, this is like an old gravedigger body or something like that. Oh, and that's cool. Go look at that thing too. Maybe it's just a trailer. Or it might even be a bus. Yeah, this is old, like old, I don't even know what these are called, but it's like that old gravedigger body, you know, that we all know from the monster truck shows. This thing is fucking wrecked. Back down here we got all our lifters or something. And the old straight 6, waterlogged, done. Let it rust. It's pretty cool. Look at this thing over here. I wonder if, is this just a trailer? Yep. Just some old trailers, old campers from fucking way back in the day. Well, this one looks like it's in really nice condition. It's an old Chevy. Oh yeah, you could work with this one. It's all pretty surface. Yeah, this one's really nice. Lots of rust. It's been sitting around for a long time. I love that, like, solid. Just had a 25,000 pound GBRW. Oh yeah, that thing's solid rusted. Crazy. Oh, there you go. River Runners 4x4 Club. Are we going to wash that off and keep it? Good find. Got some mementos to remember our old high boy F-150 Ranger. That looked like it was somebody's pride and joy at some point. And this is like what I remember as a kid, was not these huge freaking tires, but just kind of like these little meaty grabbers. That's what I remember. Now everybody just wants to put 40-inch tires on everything, including myself. and all that stuff, but some good stuff in here, like a frozen. Gotta walk carefully. We're going to the land. We are in the land of frozen now, actually. We're in Minnesota, finally, after, honestly, didn't even feel like that much driving. It's kind of I think, an easy trip up into thus far. We've had worse. So, yeah. Pretty cool. All this is just boring car parts. Boring. Look at this old Firebird. A Fiero. Or is this Trans Am or something? I don't know. I'm not that great. It's a Pontiac Firebird? Yeah, I think it's a Firebird. This is all just like the 1990s, early 2000s bullshit cars. That doesn't, any of them don't look like appealing at all. I don't know what it is about it, but like once the 90s came around, like car style just fucking went right out the window. You know, and I think a lot of it was before then, there was a lot more of a human element into like car design, right? Whereas like humans before then had to really like kind of mock these things up with their hands before they put them into production. So there was like a limited factor to how things were designed. And I think pre-90s, even pre-80s really, things look a lot more human. And after that time, you know, these cars like this Chevy right here, it doesn't look human. It looks like a fat human, you know? This shit just doesn't, it looks like a machine made it. There's less character in these because they're all the same. All the lines are perfect, blah, 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 blah. Whereas you go over to like, you know, something old like this right here, like this old, you tell when they designed that truck, they had to like roll that shit out on manual rollers, and they had to like use like manual brakes and presses to bend the metal how they wanted. And you know, it was a lot more of like humans interfacing with machines, right? Now they just throw the sheet metal on a conveyor belt, and by the time it gets to the end of the thing, you got it stamped out. And there's less human interaction. Like the only thing a human needs to be there for is to make sure that the machine is operating per specs. Where, when this truck was designed, it was designed with human-machine interfacing, right? They were working together to like make these curves and, you know, so on and so forth. And so I think you see a lot more character in the older vehicles than you see in these new vehicles. These things just kind of look like lines on a page. I don't know how else to explain it. They just look blank. They look white. They look washed out. They all look the same. So that's my rant on cars, folks.